Imagine a spaceship not fueled by hydrogen, not built for mere satellites, but a true starship. A craft so enormous it could carry an entire expedition of astronauts, supplies, and scientific equipment to Mars and back. Now, imagine it's powered by hundreds of atomic bombs, set off one after another, right behind the ship, blasting it through space like some interplanetary game of leapfrog. This isn't a sci-fi fever dream. This was Project Orion, one of the boldest, wildest, and most controversial plans in the history of space exploration. Strap in, because today we're diving into the true story of the nuclear spaceship that almost changed everything. The year is 1958. The world is racing into space. Sputnik has shocked America. The Cold War is heating up, and the nuclear arms race is in full swing. In San Diego, a small band of scientists gathers in a makeshift workshop. Among them, legendary physicist Freeman Dyson and bomb designer Ted Taylor. Their mission? To build a spaceship unlike any before or since. Their plan is simple, or at least it sounds simple. Take a big steel plate, put it at the back of a spacecraft, pack hundreds of nuclear bombs in the cargo hold, fire the bombs out one by one, and let the explosions push the ship forward, riding a shockwave across the solar system. The science is wild, but surprisingly solid. The pusher plate at the back of the Orion would be over a meter thick, built to survive the ferocious heat of nuclear blasts. Each bomb, well, the team called them pulse units, would explode behind the plate, creating a searing hot plasma jet. The shock would slam into the plate, and thanks to a sophisticated system of shock absorbers, smooth out the jolt, giving the crew a gentle ride. How powerful was this idea? A single Orion spacecraft could have weighed 4,000 tons, over 30 times heavier than the entire Apollo Saturn V. It could carry not just a tiny capsule, but a whole space station, a full crew, and everything they'd need for an expedition to Mars, Saturn, or even further. No multi-stage rockets, no months-long journeys. Just light the fuse, drop the bombs, and go. Sounds insane, right? But in late 1959, the Orion team ran real-world tests. Using chemical explosives instead of nukes, their prototype, nicknamed Hot Rod, leapt 100 meters into the air, riding a series of controlled explosions. It worked. The concept of nuclear pulse propulsion was, at least in miniature, proven. And if the world had gone differently, we might have seen Orion ships assembling in orbit, firing up their atomic engines, and heading for Mars decades before Elon Musk. Decades before NASA's Artemis program. But history had other ideas. As the 1960s dawned, the world grew wary of nuclear fallout. Tests in the atmosphere were contaminating the planet. Strontium-90 was showing up in milk, and the horrors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were still fresh. The idea of detonating hundreds of atomic bombs to launch a spaceship started to seem, well, more than a little reckless. Then, in 1963, came the nail in Orion's coffin, the Partial Test Ban Treaty. Suddenly, nuclear explosions in space were illegal. The dreamers at General Atomics had run headlong into politics, public fear, and the harsh reality of international law. Even the project's biggest champions began to question the ethics. Would we really risk adding more fallout to the world, even for the promise of the stars? Was humanity ready to carry our deadliest weapons into the final frontier? In 1965, the project was canceled. Orion's blueprints and models were filed away, and America focused instead on the Apollo program. Smaller, safer chemical rockets that would take just a handful of astronauts to the moon and back. But the story doesn't end there. Project Orion became the stuff of legend. Science fiction writers dreamed up Orion-powered battleships, saving Earth from alien invaders in novels like Footfall. Documentaries and history buffs uncovered declassified plans and designs, sparking a new fascination with this lost path to the stars. The ideas behind Orion inspired later projects. The British Interplanetary Society's Project Daedalus imagined a fusion-powered pulse ship to the stars. NASA has revisited nuclear propulsion again and again, always haunted by the power and the peril of the atomic option. Today, the pusher plate from Orion sits in the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum, a silent monument to a future that almost was. So next time you look up at the night sky, think about Project Orion, the nuclear spaceship that almost changed our destiny. Was it genius or madness? A missed opportunity or a bullet dodged? The answer, maybe, is both. Because sometimes, the wildest dreams are the ones that teach us the most about science, about ourselves, and about how far we're willing to go to touch the stars. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the strangest spaceship ever designed, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more journeys into science and history. What wild ideas should we cover next? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.